Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to optimize our code. Optimizing code is done to improve code quality and efficiency. A program or code may be optimized so that it becomes smaller, consume less memory, execute more rapidly, or perform with fewer input and output operations. So, in our motor driver code, we can remove all references to the enable pins because we no longer need them because we changed the code. Because we're not going to use the enable pins to control the speed anymore because of the problems that some of you have encountered. And aside from removing all references to the enable pins, we are going to use functions to modularize commonly used blocks of code. So let's remove all references to the enable pins. First, we have to go to the Arduino L298 test sketch that we did some sessions ago. And before doing anything, I'll save it as another document or as another sketch. Okay, I just renamed it as version 2 or appended v2 at the end. Then we're going to go through each line looking for references to the enable pins. Here we can see that this line refers to enable A, so we're going to delete that. Then this one also. Then going to the setup function, I can see that we have two references there. One is there, one is there. Then going to our main loop, main function or loop function, we can see that we have references to the enable pins. Again, we are removing these because we no longer need the enable pins to control the speed. Remember in one of the videos that we released some time ago, we decided to let go of the enable pins and reattach the jumper caps so we no longer have to control the speed. We can delete this. Further scrolling down. Okay, here's one more. Okay, I'll just delete some extra lines. Okay, before I click on save, I'm gonna go to the top of the page again, then scroll down just to make sure that we're all okay. Page down. Okay, then I'll click on save. So we're done with the first part of optimizing. So we're done with that step. The next step would be to use functions. So what are functions? Segmenting code into functions allows a programmer to create modular pieces of code that perform a defined task. The keyword here is modular. You can take that block of code and use it over and over again. And you can delegate that block of code into a function, which we can then call later. I'll give you a few examples. To do this sequence of actions, we need the following code. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks of code just to do these actions. But if we use functions, we can shorten that to this one. Okay, comparing the two, which one is easier to read and shorter? Obviously, it's the one on the right because we used functions to define these functions. So how do we create functions? First, let's go back to our Arduino code and save it as another file so we can go back if we need to. I appended v3 functions at the end. Then I look at these lines of code. If you remember, these 4 lines of code make the motor move forward. Okay, let's copy those lines of code. Then scroll to the bottom of the code. Then type void. Okay, then the name of the function. Let's call it forward. And I'll shorten it by using the letters FWD. Then open and close parentheses. Then let's type in an open curly bracket. Then click or press enter. And if I scroll down some more, you can see that a pair of curly brackets are already made. Okay, in between those two brackets, you just paste the code that we copied earlier. And congrats, we just made our first function. Let's scroll back up. Okay, these are the 4 lines of code that we copied into the forward function. We can now delete them, then replace those 4 lines by a call to that function forward, simply by typing the name of the function, open and close parenthesis, and semicolon. Okay, if you remember, these 4 lines make the motor stop. I'll copy them again. You can cut them if you want. Then scroll down to the bottom. Then make another function. If you notice, I entitled the function or named the function STP instead of stop, because when I use stop, the Arduino IDE colors it that way. Maybe it refers to some built-in function of the Arduino IDE. So to prevent any complications or future problems, I just use the name STP to differentiate it from STOP. Okay, I entered a curly bracket and click on enter, and a pair of curly brackets came up. Then I'm gonna paste the code again. Again, these 4 lines of code make the motor stop. Then I'll go back up to the loop function, and I can delete these. Just like with the forward, I'm gonna replace them with a call to that function stop. Let's now proceed to the reverse lines. These lines make the motors reverse. Again, I'm gonna copy them, go to the bottom, then make another function. Let's call it reverse. Then open curly bracket, enter there, and paste the code. So these 4 lines now make the motor go in reverse. I'll go back up and replace these 4 lines with the call to the function, like that. Okay, so just a quick recap. We have a forward call, then a delay, and a call to the stop function, and delay, call to the reverse function, and a delay. Then if you remember, these 4 lines of code make the motor stop. So do we have to rewrite, or do we have to make a new stop function like stop 2 or stop 3? No need. That's the beauty of using functions. We can just call the stop function again. I'll just do a quick scroll through the whole sketch and see if we missed anything. Let's start from the top. Okay, we didn't do anything there. We didn't do anything here either. Okay, we called the functions FWD, STP, and reverse. So let's make sure that we have corresponding functions here. We have FWD here, we have STP, and we have reverse. Okay, I'll just delete some additional lines that I accidentally put in there. Then I'll click on save. So that's it. If you can see here, we no longer had to rewrite the same block of code corresponding to the stop lines. We just had to define a stop function once, then every time we need to stop the motors, we just call on the stop function. So that's it. We're done with 2 steps in optimizing our code. First, we had to remove the references to the enable pins. Then next, we used functions for our commonly used blocks of code.